Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an ancient, powerful story from the Mahabharata. It's a story that asks a really tough question. What happens when your duty to your family forces you into a choice where, well, every single option leads to disaster? And that question really is what this whole story is about. You've got an entire race of people, the Nagas, and they are literally on the brink of being wiped out, all because of a curse from their own mother. Their whole future is basically canceled, and they are desperate for a hero. So their last hope? It all comes down to a single, incredibly desperate bargain. They have to convince a powerful ascetic to help them. But this isn't just any wise man. He's got immense spiritual power, sure, but he's also known for being, let's just say, not easy to please. He has zero tolerance for any kind of mistake. Okay, so to really get what's at stake, we need to understand who they're making a deal with. A rishi isn't just a wise old man in a cave. Think of someone who, through years of intense spiritual discipline, we're talking serious meditation and austerity, has gained almost supernatural abilities. And this specific rishi, Jaratkaru, is a powerhouse with unbelievably strict principles. The Naga king, Vasuki, makes an absolutely incredible offer, his own sister's hand in marriage. The plan is pretty straightforward. She's to have a son with the Rishi, a child who is prophesied to save them all. But this Rishi, he has zero interest in a normal marriage, and he only agrees under his own set of very, very harsh conditions. And get this, the terms he lays down, they're not just strict, they are brutal. He says, flat out, I will not provide for her. Nothing. And in exchange for this, nothing, he demands perfect, absolute obedience. The threat is hanging over her head every second of every day. Displease me just once, make one mistake, and I'm gone. That's the deal. So what does the princess do? She agrees. She walks right into this terrifying arrangement, starting a marriage where every single moment is lived under this crushing, relentless pressure to be absolutely perfect. The ancient text has this incredible way of describing her dedication. It uses these amazing animal metaphors. It says she served him with the constant alertness of a dog, the shyness of a deer, and the uncanny ability of a crow to sense his every mood. She's not just a wife, she's a survivor, constantly on high alert trying to anticipate his needs to avoid that one single fatal mistake. And you know what? It seems to be working. Against all the odds, she becomes pregnant. The child inside her is described as being filled with spiritual fire, shining, as the text says, like a flame. It looks like the savior her people have been praying for is finally on the way. But then, one afternoon, as the Rishi is sleeping with his head in her lap, the entire plan, her entire world, is thrown into chaos. And it's all because the sun is starting to set. Okay, so as the sun starts to go down, she's faced with this huge problem. She knows her husband is obsessed with his rituals. He absolutely has to perform his sacred evening prayers. For a rishi like him, missing those prayers means losing spiritual merit, his punya, which for a guy like him is an unthinkable disaster. And boom, right there, that's the trap. In this one quiet moment, she is completely cornered. She's forced to make the exact kind of no-win choice she has been dreading since the day they were married. What on earth is she supposed to do? This is it. This is that impossible bargain in action. There's no right answer. Either she wakes him up and risks his fury for disturbing his rest, or she lets him sleep, and he loses his spiritual merit, which will also make him furious. In her mind, the bigger sin is letting his spiritual duty lapse. So she picks what she thinks is the lesser of two evils. So she gently wakes him up, whispering that the sun is setting, and the fallout is immediate, and for her, it is absolutely devastating. His reaction is just off the charts. He doesn't see her good intentions at all. He just sees a massive insult. He declares their deal is broken, and he's leaving right now. And then he adds this unbelievably arrogant twist. He says the sun would never dare to set while he was still sleeping anyway. So in his mind, what she did wasn't just insulting, it was completely pointless. She's terrified, obviously, and just begs him, reminding him of why they did this in the first place. The whole mission, the son who's supposed to save her people from this terrible curse, he hasn't even been born yet. The fate of her entire race is hanging by a thread. But he's not having any of it. Her tears, her logic, it means nothing to him. But then, right before he walks away, he says something that changes everything. He fulfills the absolute letter of their bargain, but definitely not the spirit of it. He tells her the savior is already inside her. He confirms that the baby is a great soul, a future sage, who will be as brilliant as Agni, the god of fire himself. And with that incredible prophecy delivered, he just turns around and walks out of her life forever. So where does that leave us? I mean, that's a central question of the whole story, isn't it? If you look at it on paper, the mission was a success. Her people got their savior, but she was abandoned at her moment of triumph after sacrificing absolutely everything for a deal that was basically designed for her to fail from the start. It really makes you wonder about the true cost of duty and whether a victory that costs so much personally can ever really feel like a win.